Many people ponder what it takes to not just live a long life, but a truly fulfilling one in old age at 70, 80, and even beyond 100. Medical experts suggest that if individuals over 70 continue to adhere to 5 simple habits, their chances of reaching their centennial birthday become remarkably high. However, there's an alarming reality. A significant portion of people in this age group have already abandoned such practices, unknowingly shortening their lifespans by years. A 20-year Harvard University study conclusively demonstrated that neglecting these behaviors can cut life short by as much as 12 years, while actively embracing them can grant decades filled with vitality, joy, and profound meaning. 1. Lifelong learning, forging new neural connections. One of the most striking characteristics of individuals who achieve advanced old age is their unwavering commitment to mastering new skills, even well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. This isn't about passively absorbing information or sticking to long-established hobbies, but rather boldly embracing the challenge of acquiring entirely new abilities. These pursuits actively develop mental faculties and significantly bolster cognitive resilience. To better understand this phenomenon, let's turn to the inspiring story of Ruby, a 74-year-old grandmother who serves as a prime example of this behavior. Ruby's journey into new learning began quite unexpectedly when her teenage grandson showed her a coding app during family gathering. The idea of programming captivated her so much that Ruby decided to learn Python, despite her technology experience being limited to basic smartphone use. Those around her, including friends, were quite skeptical of the endeavor, wondering why she, at her age, would burden herself with such a complex task as programming. Yet, Ruby didn't succumb to doubt. Every morning, she dedicated 30 minutes to online lessons. Starting from the very basics, she encountered numerous syntax errors and challenging logical problems. Nevertheless, her persistence paid off. 2 years later, she successfully developed her own recipe organization app, which significantly simplified family meal planning, a practical tool now actively used by her children and grandchildren. However, the benefits of this pursuit extended far beyond the app she created. During regular cognitive tests, Ruby's doctor noted significant, measurable improvements in her memory, reaction speed, and problem-solving abilities. This case is not just a heartwarming story, but compelling evidence of neuroplasticity, the human brain's remarkable capacity to form new neural connections throughout life. Imagine the brain as a bustling metropolis with an intricate network of roads. Learning a new skill is akin to laying down new highways that not only improve the overall flow of information, but also create bypasses to overcome age-related obstacles. Research by Dr. Michael Merzenich, a distinguished neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco, fully supports this theory. His scientific work shows that adults actively engaged in new learning exhibit brain activity patterns strikingly similar to those observed in people 20 to 30 years younger, thereby effectively rejuvenating their cognitive functions. There's a common misconception that for learning to be beneficial, it must be exclusively academic or inherently difficult. In reality, the key factor is the novelty of the activity itself and its gradual increase in complexity, rather than the initial difficulty of the subject matter. Below are several practical brain-boosting activities you can start exploring today. Mastering a musical instrument. Even just 15 minutes of daily practice on a piano, guitar, or ukulele can actively stimulate the formation of new neural connections. The combination of auditory processing, fine motor skill development, and memory training significantly strengthens the brain's cognitive reserves. Learning a craft. Activities like pottery, knitting, or woodworking excel at developing hand-eye coordination and spatial reasoning. These pursuits not only bolster brain resilience, but also yield tangible, satisfying results. Studying a new language. Modern applications, such as Duolingo, make the process of learning a foreign language incredibly accessible. Scientific studies convincingly show that in older adults who are bilingual, the onset of dementia can be delayed by up to 5 years, as language learning activates many different brain regions. Exploring technology. Delving into the world of modern technology, whether it's mastering new software, learning the basics of digital photography, or even creating a simple website, stimulates logical thinking and the brain's adaptive capabilities. From video calls with grandchildren to confidently navigating social media or boldly experimenting with new apps, technology-based learning helps the brain stay flexible and closely connected to the pulse of modern life. The main secret to success is to start small and gradually embrace more complex challenges. Ruby didn't immediately dive into complex algorithms. She began with simple Hello World exercises and then progressively developed her skills to replicate her impressive success. Follow this proven action plan. Choose a skill that genuinely sparks your curiosity. Passion is a powerful driver of persistence, so prioritize what truly fascinates you, be it photography, coding, or gardening. Commit to short, daily practice. Just 15 to 30 minutes a day is often enough to make noticeable progress. Consistency, not intensity, plays a crucial role in forming and strengthening neural connections. Find a learning community. Join a class, an online forum, or a local group to share your experiences and learn from others. Social learning significantly boosts motivation and enhances cognitive benefits. Celebrate small victories. Every milestone achieved, no matter how minor it may seem, reinforces neural pathways and boosts self-confidence. At 70 and beyond, individuals possess a wealth of life experience. Patience, discipline, and an appreciation for gradual progress greatly facilitate the learning process. 2. Strong social connections, the heart of longevity. The second distinguishing characteristic of people who live long and fulfilling lives is their unwavering commitment to maintaining and developing meaningful social connections throughout their lives. This isn't about superficial interactions, but deep, supportive relationships that provide emotional nourishment, opportunities to share common experiences, and a strong sense of belonging. To illustrate this, let's consider the story of Stanley, a 78-year-old widower whose life underwent remarkable changes thanks to active social engagement. After losing his wife of 52 years, Stanley became completely withdrawn. He spent months isolated at home, relying solely on online grocery deliveries and avoiding all social gatherings. His children anxiously noticed troubling changes. He began forgetting recent conversations, lost all interest in his former hobbies, and seemed to be aging rapidly. Concerned by his mental and physical decline, Stanley made the important decision to join a community garden project, initially just to get some fresh air. What began as a small, tentative step soon blossomed into a vital and transformative experience. In the garden, Stanley met Maria, a 72-year-old retired teacher with a passion for growing tomatoes, and David, an 80-year-old veteran with an inexhaustible supply of fascinating stories. Over time, this trio formed a close-knit group, meeting twice a week to tend the garden together, share homemade meals, and support each other through various health challenges. Within 6 months, Stanley's family noticed striking changes. He was much more alert, energetic, and genuinely happy again. His transformation vividly underscores a profound truth, validated by decades of scientific research. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest studies of human well-being, tracked participants for over 80 years and found that strong social relationships are the single greatest predictor of happiness and longevity. People with robust social ties live, on average, 7 years longer than those who are socially isolated. Conversely, loneliness is as detrimental to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, as it increases inflammation, weakens immune function, and elevates cortisol levels, which in turn accelerates aging processes. Dr. Susan Pinker's research on blue zones, regions like Sardinia, Okinawa, and Nicoya, where people regularly live past 100, shows that centenarians prioritize in-person social interaction almost above all else. They actively cultivate intergenerational friendships, remain involved in their communities, and continue to form new connections even in advanced age. The key is not having an extensive social circle, but rather developing a few high-quality connections that offer emotional support, shared interests, and regular interaction. Here's how to build and maintain these vital relationships. Join interest groups. Book clubs, hobby groups, volunteer organizations, or faith communities provide natural opportunities to bond over shared passions. Prioritize in-person interaction. While video calls are certainly valuable, face-to-face meetings foster deeper connections through the ability to perceive body language, touch, and share common experiences. Be a connector. Introduce friends from different spheres of your life to each other. Facilitating new connections significantly strengthens your own social network. Practice active listening. Ask thoughtful questions, remember important details about people's lives, and refer back to past conversations to make others feel valued and heard. Embrace intergenerational friendships. Spending time with younger individuals keeps your mind agile and exposes you to new perspectives, while your wisdom enriches their lives. For introverts, it's recommended to start small. One meaningful conversation over coffee once a week can be far more effective than attending large, draining social events. Technology is meant to enhance, not replace, human connection. Text family members, share photos online, or use video calls to maintain friendships across distances. The beauty of this approach is that it's never too late to form new connections. Many centenarians report forging some of the most significant relationships of their lives in their 70s and 80s. 3. Natural movement, staying active in daily life. The third behavior that distinguishes long livers isn't about grueling gym workouts or running marathons. It's about organically weaving natural movement into the fabric of daily life. This distinction is critical because many people equate physical activity with formal exercise, but long livers demonstrate a much more sustainable and integrated approach. Meet Carmen, an 83-year-old woman who is a living embodiment of this principle. Carmen has never had a gym membership or followed a structured exercise program. Yet, she remains more physically capable than many people decades her junior. Her secret lies in a lifestyle built on natural movement. She tends a large vegetable garden, walks to the local market daily, chooses stairs over elevators, and actively helps care for her great-grandchildren. She cooks meals from scratch, cleans her own home, and maintains her yard. Recently, she even helped a neighbor move furniture, a feat that would challenge many people half her age. This approach aligns perfectly with findings from Blue Zone studies, where long livers seamlessly integrate physical activity into their daily routines. In Sardinia, Italy, they walk steep hills while herding sheep. In Okinawa, Japan, they actively garden, practice Tai Chi, and use walking as their primary mode of transport. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, they engage in physical labor well into their 90s. The common thread running through all these examples is that movement for them is not a separate task or obligation. It's simply an inherent part of their way of life. Natural movement offers unique advantages over structured exercise. It occurs throughout the day, keeping metabolism active and joints mobile. It's sustainable because it's purposeful, tied to daily tasks rather than forced workouts. It also engages multiple muscle groups in functional ways, building strength that directly translates to real-world actions. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that people who remain naturally active have better balance, stronger bones, improved cardiovascular health, and sharper cognitive function compared to those who exercise intensely but remain sedentary for most of the day. You don't have to live in a rural blue zone to adopt this lifestyle. Here are practical ways to incorporate natural movement into your daily routine. Walk your errands. Visit the bank, pharmacy, or coffee shop on foot whenever possible. Walking significantly improves circulation and mental clarity. Talk on the phone, standing, or strolling. Moving during conversations boosts concentration and adds light activity to your day. Use the stairs. Start with one flight and gradually build endurance. Stair climbing effectively strengthens legs and improves cardiovascular health. Garden or do yard work. Even container gardening on a balcony provides valuable movement, engaging core and upper body muscles. Clean your home. Vacuuming, dusting, and organizing are excellent functional exercises that build strength and flexibility. Cook from scratch. Standing, chopping, and stirring count as light activity while also nourishing your body with healthy food. Play with grandchildren. Chasing, lifting, or engaging in active games with children is joyful movement that also brings emotional benefits. Dance to music. Put on some tunes while doing household chores to elevate your heart rate and add joy to routine tasks. For individuals with limited mobility, it's crucial to focus on what is possible. This might include seated exercises, tending to small plants, or preparing simple meals. Balance exercises, such as standing on one leg while brushing teeth or walking heel-to-toe down a hallway, are critical for preventing falls, a leading cause of injury in older adults. Functional strength comes from everyday tasks like carrying groceries, lifting laundry baskets, or standing up from a chair without using your hands. Start small and gradually build up. Consider physical activities you enjoyed in your younger years, perhaps gardening, dancing, or walking, and find ways to organically weave them into your current routine. 4. A strong sense of purpose. Finding your ikigai. The fourth behavior that distinguishes long livers is their unwavering sense of purpose. Often called ikigai in Japanese culture, this is the very reason one wakes up each morning filled with enthusiasm and meaning. This sense of purpose is not static. It evolves with life seasons, but consistently remains a powerful driving force. "Mr. Leonard," a boy exclaimed, his face alight with excitement as he ran across the community center, clutching a newly read book. Pride echoed in his voice. He was eager to share his progress with the man who had become his mentor. 2 years prior, Leonard, a retired accountant in his 70s, had felt lost after the loss of his wife of 50 years. In search of meaning, he stumbled upon a local literacy program and began tutoring children 3 days a week. Since then, he has helped dozens of young readers unlock the magic of stories, their eyes shining with newfound confidence. Teachers at the center often praise Leonard, telling him his patience and support have transformed their students' lives. But Leonard, with a quiet smile, insists the real transformation happened to him. "These children saved me," he says. "They gave me a reason to get up every morning." Through them, Leonard rediscovered a purpose that sustains him and fills his days with joy. This is not merely a touching anecdote. It is grounded in serious scientific data. A growing body of research underscores the profound impact of purpose on health and longevity. A landmark University of Michigan study, spanning decades and involving thousands of individuals, found that people with a strong sense of purpose live, on average, 7 years longer than those without one. They are also significantly less likely to suffer from chronic diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and Alzheimer's. The evidence is compelling. Purpose is not just a pleasant concept. It is a measurable factor in physical and mental well-being. Dr. Patricia Boyle, a neuropsychologist at Rush University Medical Center, further illuminated this connection in her aging research. Her study of over 1,000 older adults revealed that those with high purpose scores, a measure of how meaningful and directed they perceive their lives to be, were 2.4 times less likely to develop dementia compared to those with lower scores. Purpose, it turns out, acts as a shield for the brain, preserving cognitive function and reducing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. This protective effect is believed to stem from purposeful behaviors, such as maintaining social activity, mental engagement, and emotional resilience, all of which strengthen neural connections. However, many people misunderstand that purpose does not require grandiose, world-changing ambitions. It doesn't mean you need to start a global movement or achieve worldwide fame. Purpose can be as simple as teaching a child to read, tending a community garden, or sharing your life's wisdom with a younger generation. The key is that it must be meaningful to you and connect you to something larger than yourself. As Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and eminent psychiatrist, wrote in his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, "We can endure almost anything if we have a why to live for." Frankl's insights, born from unimaginable hardship, underscore that purpose is a universal human need not a luxury reserved for the young or privileged. This need becomes even more critical with age. Aging brings inevitable challenges: declining health, loss of loved ones, and reduced physical capabilities. Yet, purpose provides a buffer, a source of resilience that transforms obstacles into opportunities. For a person with purpose, a health setback is not a reason to give up, but a challenge to be navigated with determination. Purpose shifts the lens through which we view life's difficulties, making them seem less like insurmountable barriers and more like temporary hurdles. Practical steps to discover or rediscover your purpose. Finding purpose is a deeply personal journey, but one that anyone can embark on, regardless of age or circumstance. Here are detailed, actionable strategies to help you uncover what gives your life meaning. Reflect on your core values. Take time to ponder the principles that have guided your life. Have you always valued kindness, creativity, justice, or community? How can you express these values in your current stage of life? For example, if justice is a core value, you might volunteer for an organization that advocates for equal access to education or healthcare. Reflection can be as simple as journaling about moments in your life when you felt most fulfilled, or conducting a values audit to identify what matters most to you. Leverage your skills and experience. Your life experience is a treasure trove of wisdom. Whether you are a teacher, a mechanic, a parent, or simply a passionate hobbyist, you possess unique skills that can benefit others. Ask yourself, what knowledge could I share? What problems could I help solve? For instance, a retired engineer might mentor young students in a STEM program, or a former chef could teach cooking classes at a community center. Your past is not just history. It's a valuable resource for creating purpose in the present. Join causes that ignite your passion. What issues stir your heart? Perhaps it's environmental conservation, literacy, animal welfare, poverty alleviation, or local community development. Passion is often a sure indicator of your purpose. Research local organizations or online platforms that align with your interests. For example, if you care about the environment, you might join a tree planting initiative or advocate for sustainable practices in your neighborhood. Even small actions like organizing a recycling drive can spark a profound sense of contribution. Seek intergenerational connections. Interacting with younger generations can be deeply purposeful. Mentoring, tutoring, or simply sharing stories from your life can foster mutual growth. Programs like Big Brothers Big Sisters or local schools often welcome volunteers to mentor young people. These relationships not only provide purpose, but also contribute to a sense of legacy as you pass on values and wisdom to the next generation. Volunteer strategically. Volunteering is a powerful way to find purpose, but it's most effective when it aligns with your interests and skills. Random tasks might feel like chores, but purposeful volunteering feels like a calling. Research organizations that resonate with you. And don't be afraid to try different roles. For example, if you love animals, volunteering at a shelter can be deeply satisfying. If you're a natural organizer, coordinating events for a nonprofit might be your niche. Explore creative expression. Creativity can be a powerful source of purpose. Writing memoirs, painting, playing musical instruments, or engaging in crafts can connect you to yourself and others. Sharing your creations, whether through a blog, a community art show, or by gifting handmade items, amplifies this sense of contribution. For example, a woman in her 80s who started writing poetry about her life found purpose by sharing her work at a local library's open mic night, inspiring others to tell their stories. Strengthen family bonds. Family is often a natural source of purpose. You might become the family historian, preserving stories and traditions, or organize gatherings to bring loved ones together. Supporting grandchildren in their hobbies, attending their games, or simply listening to their dreams can create deep meaning. Even if family is far away, writing letters or making regular calls can foster connection and purpose. Strive for personal growth. Purpose can also come from within. Learning a new skill, overcoming a personal challenge, or demonstrating resilience to others can be profoundly meaningful. For instance, a 70-year-old who starts practicing yoga to combat chronic pain can inspire others by sharing their journey. Personal growth doesn't require grand achievements. Small steps, like mastering a new recipe or solving a puzzle, can foster a deep sense of accomplishment. The beauty of purpose is that it often reveals itself through action, not just contemplation. Leonard didn't know that tutoring would become his passion until he stepped into the classroom. Don't wait for a lightning bolt of inspiration. Start small. Visit a local organization. Talk to friends about their volunteer experiences. Or pay attention to what frustrates you in your community. Frustration, whether it's about litter in your neighborhood or a lack of resources for local youth, can be a key to understanding where your purpose lies. Purpose is also dynamic. What gave your life meaning at 40 might not resonate at 70, and that's perfectly normal. As life changes, so too can your purpose. A career-focused professional might find meaning in mentorship after retirement, while a former caregiver could discover joy in advocacy. The key is to remain open to new possibilities and prioritize a sense of being needed and valued. Regardless of the scale of your contribution, even individuals with physical limitations can find purpose. You don't need boundless mobility or energy to make a difference. Virtual mentoring, writing encouraging letters, or offering emotional support to friends and family are all meaningful contributions. Your life experience is an invaluable gift, and sharing it, whether through storytelling, advice, or simply listening, creates ripples of impact that extend far beyond your immediate circle. A question for reflection: what exactly gives your life meaning at this moment? If you're unsure which cause or activity you might want to explore, it's worth turning your attention to the next important component of longevity: the power of optimism and gratitude. The fifth behavior common among long-lived individuals, perhaps the most surprising, is the ability to maintain an optimistic outlook on life and practice gratitude even amidst life's inevitable difficulties. This isn't about insistent, toxic positivity or ignoring problems. On the contrary, it's a conscious choice to focus on the good while acknowledging all complexities. It's a deliberate cultivation of a mindset that fosters resilience and joy. Take Rosetta, for example, an 86-year-old woman who has endured profound personal losses. She lost her husband to cancer, suffered a heart attack, and lives with arthritis that makes daily tasks like buttoning a shirt or opening a jar excruciatingly painful. Yet, Rosetta radiates warmth and laughter. Neighbors describe her as a true ray of sunshine, always ready with a kind word or a funny story. Every morning, she starts her day by writing in her gratitude journal, noting 3 things she is genuinely thankful for. Yesterday's entries were simple yet profound: the bright red cardinal that visits her bird feeder, a 20-minute phone call with her daughter, and the fact that her hands still work well enough to write this. When asked how she manages to stay so positive, Rosetta replies, "I decided long ago that I could either dwell on what I've lost or rejoice in what I still have. Both are true, but only one gives me the energy to keep living." Rosetta's approach is not just inspiring. It's backed by significant scientific data. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest-running studies of human health, found that optimistic people live 11 to 15% longer than their pessimistic peers. They also have better cardiovascular health, stronger immune systems, and lower rates of depression. Dr. Suzanne Segerstrom, a psychologist at the University of Kentucky, has studied optimism and aging for decades. Her research shows that optimistic people have longer telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that shorten with age, essentially slowing cellular aging. Notably, optimism is not a fixed trait one is born with. It's a skill that can be developed at any age. True optimism doesn't mean denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about believing one can influence outcomes through their actions and perceiving setbacks as temporary, not permanent. Gratitude is a powerful ally of optimism. Dr. Robert Emmons, a leading gratitude researcher at the University of California, Davis, found that people who regularly practice gratitude sleep better, have stronger relationships, and report higher levels of life satisfaction. The act of noticing the good in one's life rewires the brain to seek out positive experiences, creating a virtuous cycle of well-being. Practical ways to cultivate optimism and gratitude. Here are detailed strategies to integrate optimism and gratitude into your daily life. Start a daily gratitude practice. Jot down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't need to be profound. A warm cup of coffee, a kind neighbor, or a sunny day are perfect. Consistency is key. Over time, this trains your brain to notice life's small joys. Try keeping a notebook by your bed or using a dedicated gratitude app to make it a habit. Practice positive reframing. When facing challenges, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can this make me stronger? For instance, if mobility issues limit your activity, reframe it as an opportunity to explore seated exercises or connect with others online. Reframing doesn't erase difficulties, but helps you find growth within them. Focus on what you can control. Aging brings challenges beyond your control: illness, loss, or physical decline. Yet, you can always control your response. For example, you can't control a chronic illness, but you can choose to follow a treatment plan or seek community support. This distinction fosters resilience and hope. Celebrate small victories. Acknowledge progress, no matter how minor. Did you walk a little further today despite joint pain? That's a win. Did you have a meaningful conversation with a friend? Celebrate it. Recognizing these moments builds self-worth and optimism. Balance your media consumption. Staying informed is important, but constant exposure to negative news can skew your perspective. Limit time spent on distressing media and seek out positive content, such as inspiring books or community newsletters. Maintaining this balance keeps your outlook grounded yet hopeful. Practice loving-kindness meditation. Dedicate a few minutes daily to sending well wishes to yourself, your loved ones, and even strangers. This mindfulness-based practice fosters compassion and optimism. Surround yourself with positive people. Optimism and pessimism are both contagious. Seek out friends, family members, or groups that inspire and energize you. Join a book club, attend community events, or connect with like-minded individuals online. Your social circle significantly impacts your mindset. Employ positive self-talk. Notice when your inner dialogue becomes critical or self-defeating, and consciously shift to kinder, more supportive words. Instead of, "I'm too old to learn this," try telling yourself, "I'm learning at my own pace, and that's perfectly fine." Positive self-talk builds self-confidence and strengthens resilience. Share good news. When something positive happens, whether it's a successful doctor's visit, a kind gesture from a neighbor, or a delightful event, share it with someone. Amplifying joy reinforces optimism and enhances relationships. Reflect on past resilience. You've overcome every challenge life has thrown at you so far. Remind yourself of this when facing new obstacles. Journal about times you persevered through difficult situations. This provides undeniable proof of your inner strength and a compelling reason to remain hopeful. Healthy optimism doesn't mean ignoring grief or pain. It's about acknowledging difficult emotions while still holding space for hope. For older adults, this mindset is especially powerful. Decades of experience overcoming hardships, building relationships, and finding joy in the most unexpected places provide a deep well of wisdom to draw from. Many long-lived individuals report that their happiest years came after 70, when they were able to let go of societal pressures and focus on what truly matters most: connection, purpose, and gratitude. A question for reflection. What are you genuinely grateful for today? How do you maintain hope during challenging times? The synergy of longevity behaviors. These 5 behaviors: lifelong learning, strong social connections, natural movement, a sense of purpose, and optimism and gratitude, do not exist in isolation. They work together like instruments in a beautifully orchestrated symphony, amplifying one another. For example, learning a new skill often leads to new social connections. A sense of purpose fuels the motivation to stay active and optimistic. Gratitude, in turn, deepens relationships, and energizes you for new challenges. Consider Walter, a 94-year-old who embodies all 5 behaviors. At 85, he learned to use a computer to video chat with his grandchildren across the country, thereby keeping his mind sharp and his family close. He volunteers twice a week at an animal shelter, choosing to walk there instead of driving to stay physically active. Every morning, he writes in his gratitude journal, noting small joys like a warm blanket or a friendly dog. Walter isn't just surviving. He's thriving, radiating vitality and purpose. In contrast, those who neglect these behaviors often face isolation, a sedentary lifestyle, and a sole focus on decline. They may exist, but they don't truly live. Yet, those who embrace these habits, regardless of health challenges, maintain joy, connection, and meaning into their advanced years. The choice is yours, to view aging as an inevitable decline or as a unique opportunity to distill your life down to what matters most. These behaviors don't just add years to your life, they add life to your years. They offer a clear roadmap not only to longevity, but to a life rich with joy, deep connections, and true meaning. Your age is not a limitation. It's a solid foundation for wisdom, resilience, and authentic happiness.